All right, so yeah, so do you go by Rhaburn? Am I saying that right?
Rayburn, actually.
Rayburn, Jesus. Ugh. All right, Rayburn. All
Yeah,
right.
you know what? Don't feel too bad. I need to put myself a little bit more out there as far as like my personal info. My full name is actually James J.R. Rayburn, as you'll see in the little screen there. So,
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking at it, and it's like, so tell me, how long have you been doing film?
I've been doing film professionally for about 14 years now.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
since 2010, I started on like music video sets, doing like a lot of PA work and just kind of working myself up from there.
Yeah, so what did you like graduate college from it, or were you just like, just doing like some homemade videos and that's how you got into it?
I did go to college. I did not finish. That's a whole other story, but make a long story short, I got sick again, super long story. And when I recovered, I found a opportunity to travel, and that's what I did. And I found work traveling, and I just kind of never looked back.
Oh, it was work traveling. So it's like work traveling with filming, or were you doing something like totally different?
Kind of different, but film was definitely like not far behind. After I recovered from my illness, I just saw a need to just like go out there and see the world. And
Oh, okay, all right.
yeah.
Honestly, that's dope, really. Cause so all right, so you were sick and that just gave you a need to just go out there and just, like take pictures? Or was it just traveling and then you were like, what, let me just take a few pictures and then that became a hobby?
Um, so right around that time, like I guess like after I recovered, I was already doing photography professional for about 2 or 3 years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really just to like get away because I guess by that point I felt kind of burnt out from college and I don't know, I just wasn't getting what I wanted or what I thought I was going to get out of it. So when I recovered, I just felt like traveling just made the most sense. And yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I don't blame you, man. Because I went to college, I went to UNO, and it's like it's really hard to go to college while at the same time you're working a job. You got to pay everything off, sometimes working two jobs. And then while you're doing college, you're pretty much learning everything from YouTube. So I'm thinking to myself, like, why am I doing this? Like, is this gonna work out in the long run, especially with debt and everything? So I don't blame you for dropping out. Sometimes it's just not for some people. Like college nowadays is pretty much just I mean, I don't want to say some people don't like when I say it, but it's like it's becoming obsolete. Unless you're doing how you feel
I mean,
about
I don't know if it's obsolete as I mean, I guess it depends. Like I feel like if you're coming like a doctor or a lawyer, then
yeah,
sure.
uh-huh,
Well, not sure. I mean, sure is the fact. Like, I feel like that's where it's still relevant. Other
important. Yep.
things, I guess it's still debatable. But you know what? I'm actually used to like structure, which is kind of ironic because I feel like my life is anything but like a full-on structure. So, yeah, as far as college goes, like, it's like everybody else. You were taught to, go to school,
Uh-huh.
get the paper, get a
Uh-huh.
job, and life is set.
Yep.
What I come to realize with filmmaking is that it's actually not that simple. It's actually very complicated. And I think traveling the world a little bit definitely gave me a bit of perspectives on that. So,
Yeah, do you think it's important to have like a college degree when it comes to filmmaking? Like, what do you think is more important, a degree or the portfolio? Like, let's say you're like hiring somebody, and the guy on the left have a 4-year degree in college. The other guy on the right have made, let's say, about 5 films. Who would you pick?
I wish it was as simple as like a, one answer that fits all, but it's not. So, I don't want to like dismiss college experience.
Right. Uh-huh.
Honestly. I feel like there is still some important usage for it, but
Right.
I'll say with filmmaking, I feel like, you know what? It's a combination of like experiences, it's a combination of like, passion, like who's hungry, who really wants to work, and then sometimes it's literally just like a personality thing, like you're trying to get along with somebody, because sometimes you could have like you could have the right person with the credentials, but you may not
Uh-huh.
get for whatever reason, and
Yep.
you're spending X amount of time with these people on set, so you don't want that to be, like the whole experience. Or if that's what it's gonna be, then it's just
Right.
like, I don't know. Me personally, it's not gonna work.
Yeah,
So
honestly.
getting along with crew members is like really important for me.
Yeah, yeah, no, really important because I remember I was working with another director, because somebody had put us together because they were like, I'm a director and they're a director. Why don't y'all, work together? And so I never worked with another director, so I was giving that a try. But it's like, working with somebody on the same movie, y'all can have like your creative differences, and sometimes you can butt heads, You ever had that happen to
Mhm.
you? So it was like it was just really difficult to work with the person. Like I love their work, but it's like, I sometimes I have my opinion on like how things should go as well. So it's really hard to like share that movie.
I think it depends on like your role on the said production, like was you directing this other project, or you was just assisting the other director with their needs for the project?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was their project, but it was like they wanted me as a assistant director.
Oh, an assistant. Okay. Well, even assistant directing, like, they all have their roles. And I think it's actually really important that everybody knows their roles before you guys start to roll camera. Because, when I'm not directing, I'm writing or doing still photography. Once in a blue moon, I might just give myself to a trusted individual as like a production assistant, but that's like really rare because I felt like I've been there, done that. So that's like way past what I'm trying to do now. Yeah,
Yes.
but an
But
AD has their place, but they're not the actual director. If anything, the AD is the one that's kind of like the director's personal assistant, or just making sure that the
no, go
director
ahead.
has their needs met. So it's a lot of factors into that, but you just got to know your role. So if you're an AD, you're an AD. If you're a director,
Yeah.
you're a director, and whatever else roles that are there.
Yeah, you know what I learned is like before you hop on the movie with someone, you gotta really know that person like personally. Like you need to know their personality, like can you work together just as two individuals? Because maybe y'all two have the same creative like process, like same ideas, but it's like two conflicting personalities. It could be really hard to work with the person. So,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're not really given like all the time ahead of time to like really meet. I mean, if I can, I definitely try to like, talk and meet with everybody and just see where everybody's head is at. But sometimes depending on the production, that's not always the case.
all right. Well,
So, yeah, getting along definitely helps make the job easier, especially if it's like, them long hours that you'll be spending on set.
right, right. So let me ask you this. What was like in a film, just in a film project, what was your biggest challenge, like your most difficult, how should I say, your most difficult memory when making a film? Was it the people you work with? Was it like the financial part, like you got bills due, you're not really getting paid well, but you still want to make this movie? Was it like the sleepless nights, working till like 2 in the morning, waking up to 7 a.m.? What was it, your biggest obstacle?
One of them was definitely money.
Money.
Money is always a thing.
Always a thing, Jesus.
I'm actually in post-production for a horror pilot right now. And it went through several challenges, money being one of them. But the biggest challenge for me that I could think of right now, I mean, I could think of a few, but as far as like right now, it was literally dealing with the aftermath of a thief that actually stole a lot of sensitive material from our set.
Jesus.
Had to go to a legal route to go handle that and having
Oh,
to be in the home.
dang. Wait,
So
so wait, they stole like clips, like movie clips, equipment?
memory memory cards, lens, lights,
Oh, Jesus.
computers. Yeah.
You know, the film industry is pretty small. I mean, it's big, but it's like it's pretty intimate. So I don't know why somebody would do that.
You know, I don't know. People definitely have their reasons. And ugh, man, I'm still dealing with that. I mean, I'm not as angry about it as I was compared to when it first happened, but I've definitely had to bite my tongue. And, as a director, I mean, I always hear these stories happening, but I've never really had it happen to me until it actually happened to me.
And it just came out of nowhere. Like it just like completely left field. Like it wasn't in their personality or anything. Like you didn't get any hints or nothing. It just happened.
I didn't know the person. Yeah, I didn't know the person well. Like that was kind of like my first time working with them. They kind of came in from like another, crew member's recommendation, and at least from the time that we've been prepping, I never had any hint that there was a problem. It was a lot of like, I don't want to say like personal problems that just kind of
Right.
like collided like when it came to
Uh-huh.
set, but that was a whole thing. And yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned it was a horror film that you was working on?
I think it's more of a horror comedy, but yeah, it's a nice
You must be
plot.
talking about spirits.
No, 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 no.
Not spirits?
Spirits. I didn't actually direct Spirits. I was the AD on that project.
Gotcha.
That project was directed by my friend Reginald, and that was more. I would say it's more of like a drama, and it just has like those hints of thriller. But I don't want to really speak on his behalf because he'll probably give you a whole better
Yeah.
sideline to it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been seeing that film everywhere on your page, spirits, I've been, wait, so have it been released yet?
Yes, yes, it's out there in public on YouTube.
Yeah, I gotta watch. It's like a short film.
Hmm.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that. Another one, another, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, from that project, yeah, Reggie, who's my friend, who was the director on that film, me and other people have been trying to get him to, come back and do that type of work on a regular, but as an artist, everybody has their own vices on how they make things work. And I feel like sometimes everybody kind of goes through like, what do you call it? Um,
Like a burnout.
yeah, creative burnout. That's not quite the word, but yeah, for lack of a better word, yeah, creative burnout. So this was like his first project in a while, and yeah, like we are so happy that like he came back, and I'm happy that he asked me to kind of help bring that to life. And it was a labor of love, and yeah, we look forward to doing many, many more projects.
Yeah, how long did it take to make it?
Shooting wise, only a night. Prep wise,
Wait, a night? One night?
yeah, yeah, we shot in a
Jeez.
night.
Jeez, all right.
Yeah.
Because I was working on this film called If that it just released. I can send you a link later, but I was working on this film called If, and it was like a full feature film, and it took us
Okay.
months to make, it's just working day and night, and I'm surviving off of coffee, sonic food, But yeah, it took months, and one of the difficulties was the funding. Like how we like fund the film because sometimes we run out of money because it's like a personal film.
Mhm.
So I say this to say that when it comes to making your own film, like how do you, if you don't mind me asking, like how do you like get the money for yours? Some people spend their own money, some people do like what's called a crowdfunding.
Mhm.
How would you go about it?
So with my projects of the past, I feel like I'm in the transition stage with that now. But I've actually done those projects with very little to nothing. I mean, sometimes there was a little bit of money, but sometimes the budget was just craft.
Uh-huh.
And I started making those earlier films, like I was actually still in college.
Right.
Um, as far as this horror pilot, um, some of it was my personal money, but there was a little bit of like miscommunication as far as like how it was going to be distributed. And then, dealing with the aftermath of the thief, which actually led to me going towards making a GoFundMe for the film.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I think honestly for me, like as far as that project, I made the mistake of how would I say it? I kind of made the mistake of letting the funds come in afterwards, where I should have let it came before we even started filming.
Uh-huh.
That project, this was kind of like my first time dealing with a project with that particular set budget. And to the best of my ability, I did what I could. I feel like some people might disagree with me on that, but I was never like any like ill will or any ill intentions about it.
Right,
But
right.
we're almost at the finish line now, and obviously I'm going to be making a lot of different decisions moving forward, how things are budgeted or how things are going to go through crowdfunding or whatever the case may be. But, to answer your question, like I said, sometimes the budget was just craft, sometimes it was just a little bit of like my personal money or somebody else's.
Right, right.
And yeah.
So when it comes to making a film, like what's your favorite thing to do? Do you like the actual like holding the camera? Do you like the directing? You also say that you was a writer, a screenwriter, did you say?
Yes, I'm
And
a director, screenwriter, and still photographer.
and what about the editing?
I do not edit. I actually despise editing with a passion, which is kind of ironic because I hear all these stories about like, well, all directors should start with editing, but you know what? I've never had the luxury or the finances to really pursue editing as a hobby. So, editing is actually my least favorite part, and
That's interesting.
not for a lack of trying, but no, I love directing, I love writing, I love photography. But with directing, it's really just controlling the overall narrative of the
Uh-huh.
story.
Mm-hmm.
Um at one point, I mean, because it's all I'm coming from an indie background,
Right.
so there's a lot of like multitasking of skills with being a filmmaker. So I thought at one point, when it say directing, I thought the directors were always the ones that were camera operating, only to find out,
Yeah, I thought that too.
yeah, I that's really more of like the cinematographer or the DP's job and the
Hmm.
people underneath them. But yeah, I thought the direct, and I even did some research back into like, older films like Alien. And yeah, according to like some union rules, there were some directors back then, and even now to a certain extent, where they're not even allowed to touch the camera or operate it,
Jesus.
which I thought was kind of interesting. But nowadays, I mean, I don't think people really adhere to that rule, or maybe it's more of a union thing. I'm not really sure, but
Uh-huh.
I love watching the camera. But I feel like I'm also at a point now where I don't necessarily have to touch the camera. Like I can trust a DP to do their part, and I'm just controlling everything else as far as like, interacting with the actors, interacting with the crew members,
Right.
or interacting with the AD as far as like, whatever. But when I'm on set directing, I feel like the motive is kind of more so to focus on the actors and their performance and kind of let everybody else do what they need to do.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking on actors, all right, so how do you direct the actors? Do you, in a sense, micromanage, like you want it a certain way, or do you like stand back and you let them like handle it?
It varies because not every actor is the same.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, I mean, it's my job as a director to direct them no matter what format I'm coming at. So if it was like a comedy type of project, well, first, any project, I would say, you know what, definitely prep. I did not have the luxury to prep the way I did as far as like going towards my horror film, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, like moving forward, I'm like, yeah, I need as much prep as I can. I need, staging, blocking, rehearsals,
Yep.
all of that.
Uh-huh.
And if it's for like a comedy particularly, I mean, I do focus on like what's the script, but I know with comedy there's a lot of improvisation.
Yep.
So
Uh-huh.
usually, yeah, with the actors that I've worked with in the past, most of them are kind of like used to that. So I do a couple of things. Sometimes I'll do takes where I'm like, follow the script exactly. And then I'll do other takes where, do what kind of like feels right, or if you feel like you could say a different line or a word better, like I'll give them room. But as I'm moving up the ladder, I'm trying to learn to kind of make it feel like, that's why rehearsals and staging and blocking is so important. Like that's the time to improv because I mean it depends, different productions, different producers, different
Right, right.
expectations. So um I give them room, but it really just depends if that makes sense. I felt like that was a
Yeah,
long.
yeah, no, no, I understand. Yeah, with each actor it depends. Each situation it depends. Each movie it depends.
Yeah, and even like the non comedy roles, I think those are a lot more straightforward, but sometimes like natural reactions or a natural word, like anything could happen, but I try to stay on the material as much as possible, but I do leave room for improvisation if
Oh
it's
yeah,
necessary.
yeah. Honestly, you're right about the material because I remember when I first made my first movie, and it's like some actors, in a sense, went off script, but at the
Hmm.
same time, when they went off script, it was good, so I kept it in. It was only until like the editing process where I'm trying to figure out, wait a minute, what scene is this part in? Especially if you're filming like out of order, some people go from one to the end, while some people skip around. So yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was gonna say I think that's why like having a script supervisor is kind of important to have on set for that, you know.
Hmm.
Um, in my experience, I would say if I could shoot an order, I like to, but realistically, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
But I kind of do like shooting in order, but it really just depends on the script and what we're dealing with as far as resources is concerned.
Right. Now, when you're writing your own script, do you have help? Do you have somebody to proofread it for you? Like, how do you go about that?
Hmm. I should. I mean, sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Everybody is busy, which, I do respect the time. But wait, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're writing a script, do you have somebody that proofread it, or do you just do everything yourself? Like you write the script, you read over it, and you're like, "Yep, this is it. I'm making a movie out of this."
I can usually proofread it myself, but sometimes I'm so in my head that like, yeah, it's actually much easier if I have somebody to like just read and
Hmm.
proofread or
Hmm.
give me like their good 2 cents about whatever. With short films, I mean, I still do it with short films, but I think with short films because to me, I using them as like a lot of like experimentation, so.
Hmm.
I don't want to say I'm kind of like whatever, like let's just like hurry up and shoot, but
Hmm.
there's a certain time period where I'm just like, all right, I need a little bit of time to proofread or
Yep.
to revise and then like go. Whereas like feature films or like other projects, yeah, it's like no, I need proofread. It's like everything
Yep.
has to be right on paper
Mhm.
before we start rolling cameras.
Yeah, I'm not really a screenwriter, but I make my own film from time to time. And when I do write, even though I'm not a screenwriter, but when I do write, it's like I'm trying to write the picture that's in my head. And sometimes like my writing skills isn't really capturing that. So sometimes I have like whether I like it or not, I need someone to do the writing for me.
Mhm.
So when you're writing your script, are you trying to like match that image or that vision that you had in your head, or do you like write and then you picture it?
I tried to match the vision in my head, but I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of times when it comes to the final product, sometimes it's something completely different, or sometimes it even surpasses whatever I had in my head
Yeah. Hmm.
originally.
Hmm.
So, I don't necessarily view myself as like a writer director like Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
I've written scripts to give myself the opportunity because even like when I was in film school or whatever, the opportunities were just like very scarce. And like, like I said earlier, trying to go from going to school, graduating, getting a job, like filmmaking, it just didn't do that for me.
Hmm.
So I still don't really consider myself a writer director, but I write things again to just give myself the opportunity. And the fact that I've been adhiring that skill set for a long time, it's just like, yeah, I mean, I wish somebody would like give me a solid script where I could just focus on directing, not having to write.
Right.
And I know writers, they have their process, including myself, but I don't know, like when I have like that directing bug, like when I just know it's just time to like direct and do something, like I just do it. And sometimes I can't afford to like really wait on the other writers because everybody just has like this like it has to be perfect. And I'm guilty of that too.
Right.
But
Right.
I don't know. It's just like when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Hmm. Now, when you're writing your script, what inspires you? Like, do you just listen to music sometimes and then like a script comes to your head? Do you watch a
Mhm.
movie and sometimes like a particular scene inspires you to like make a movie from that movie?
Mhm.
Like, what
Yeah.
inspires you?
So it doesn't really take much for me to get inspired. Like I could watch a movie, I could listen to an album, I could just be going day to day life. I could just see something on the street or somebody could be telling me about their day or their experience. And sometimes I'm like visualizing as they're talking to me about whatever. It really doesn't take much for me to get inspired. It's just having the time to sit there and actually write and type and then not try to get like overwhelmed by like the 100 plus ideas that I have.
Yep, yep.
Like for my horror film, just to share like a little tidbit.
Right.
So what can I say about it? I got the idea actually from a skit on an old DJ Quik album.
DJ Quik. I never heard of his music, but I heard of his name.
Oh yeah. You're from Florida, right?
No, New Orleans,
New
Louisiana.
Orleans. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, I don't want to rehash DJ's Quick's history. That's a simple Google search. But
All
on
right,
the
all
West
right.
Coast, I would argue that he's definitely one of our top, like, producers, rapper. And yeah, he has a skit on his Safe and Sound album, which I don't want to spoil it here, but it's a pretty serious situation. Like old rap albums, there's an art to their skits. And I literally wrote this story from that skit back in like 2017. And
Oh wow.
yeah, so it was actually much more simpler compared to like what it is now. It was literally like two actors, one location, and that was that. But when I got my producer involved, like she kind of like encouraged me. She was just like, "This is great, but we need more." And I'm like, "More?" She's like, "We just need more. Like, just keep going." And I was like, "Okay, but how much money you trying to spend?" Because the way that I wrote it, it was kind of like I'm trying to
Right.
do this with like very little to nothing. But
Hmm.
anyway, so that is neither here or there. We
So,
went.
so your upcoming horror movie comes from a DJ Quik a skit from when
Yeah,
he came
it was
out.
inspired by it. Yeah.
Gotcha,
If,
gotcha.
if I had to describe my film, think Boomerang meets Insidious.
Boom. I never heard of Boomerang. I mean, I heard of like the cartoon TV show Boomerang, but
Oh
no,
no, no, no. Eddie Murphy's Boomerang. You never seen it?
no Boomerang.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen Insidious though,
Mm-hmm.
but Boomerang coming from Eddie Murphy. Is it a comedy?
Mm-hmm. Came out in 1992.
Oh,
Yeah,
let me
it's
see.
one of his best work.
Maybe I did
I
see
promise you, it's one of his.
Boomerang.
Yeah, I got to give you some some media homework just for your own research. But yeah, yeah, no, it's a that's my film. Boomerang meets Insidious. That's all I could say about it.
All right, now let me ask you this. What's your favorite genre? Because it seems like you really like comedy and horror. What's your favorite genre, though?
I don't have a favorite genre.
Oh, you don't.
I like all kind of movies. I like Jurassic Park. I like The Godfather. I like 16 Candles, Scarface, Black Panther, Home Alone.
Oh, geez, it's everywhere.
Yeah, I The Revenant. I Django Unchained. I just love movies. Period. I just like a good movie.
Now, when you make your movies, are you do you make it because hold on, I'm trying to figure out how I can answer this question. Because like when I make movies, I don't, in a sense, make movies to be the best filmmaker out there. I make
Mhm.
movies to like I get a lot of visions. I want to tell a story, but I don't do it to be the best. I'm not trying to be as big as the big guys. I just do it just to tell a story. So when
Mhm.
you make movies, do you you aim to be like the best, like Christopher Nolan, or do you also like want to be like just to tell a story?
Um,
Let me phrase that one more time. So,
uh,
when people rap, right, they rap because, they're poets. When people paint, they're painters, and that's how they tell their message. So
mhm.
is that the same for you when it comes to making movies? That's your way of how I say delivering your message?
Yeah, we can say that. I mean, I make movies because like that's literally what I want to do with my life. Like I decided from the age of 10 that I wanted to be a movie director.
Oh shit.
And sometimes I wish I would have started much sooner, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm definitely inspired by like, people like Spielberg and Nolan and Spike Lee and so on and so forth. So somewhere down the line, yeah, I definitely want to be considered in the best of categories, but the only way to really do that is just that you got to make these movies for yourself and just put it out there and see what happens, and then you learn, and then you just kind of keep it pushing.
Yeah. Now, what's the most amount of movies or short films you made in 1 year?
In 1 year,
1 year.
about three, I would say. As far as release, maybe about two. But since um 2015, I've directed or I've released at least one short film a year. Even though I've been in the industry since 2010, but that was just kind of me, like, learning my way through like different productions, just literally just trying to say yes to everything. I mean, I can't say yes to everything now, but
Yeah,
yeah.
just getting your feet in the door. So how do you balance out making a film while at the same time making money to pay your bills? Because I know that could be tricky. That could be really tricky.
You know what? I don't really even have an answer for that because I can tell you right now, my life is really chaotic. It's a lot of ups and downs. I have good months, I have bad months.
Hmm.
I definitely crave stability now more than anything in my life, but
Hmm.
I can't really see myself giving up on film. And I feel like with everything that I've done within the last 14 years, um, something got to give at some point. Like I really do not see myself doing anything as far as filmmaking. Like I really feel like this is what I'm meant to do with my life. As far as paying bills and stuff like that, I mean, look, it's a combination of like God,
Right, 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 right.
parents,
Hmm.
sometimes good friends, and sometimes just me depending on my own ass. So,
Are you hoping for that one? Well, let me phrase that. So like when I make films, I kind of think to myself like, how am I supposed to make a lot of money from this? Am I supposed to get into contact with like big movie executive? Like, how am I supposed to go about that? Because I just make film and I release it like maybe on YouTube at best Tubi, and I hope somebody picks it up. But maybe I'm going about it the wrong way. How do you go about it?
I mean, it's not really a one size fit all. I mean, I could tell you a little bit of what I've been trying to do. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, making the films on YouTube and releasing them, that's great. I mean, that's technically still what I'm doing, but as far as like, getting those high paying jobs through like, your other connections or
Uh-huh.
trying to go for the union, or if you're keeping it all independent, finding those clientels that will pay their way, which is already another task within itself. So I don't really have an answer that like really fits that question because
Right,
I'm
right.
figure that out. But my intention anyway, I make these short films to like, build up a reel. Like I actually just released a director's reel of my first 10 short films very recently.
Oh, Jesus,
Part
nice.
of part of that intention is to, display, many things that I could do with those talents and to, use that to find other work that will lead me towards those high paying jobs. I see myself more as like a film director. I don't really see myself more like on the TV side, but if I really vibe with the TV show, I'll definitely keep those options open. But I'm definitely like, film. But when I see shows like Snowfall or Insecure or even like Abbott Elementary,
Oh, those are some beautiful shows,
I
man.
was I was like, I tried very hard to get on both Snowfall and Insecure. Sadly, nothing came of it. But even now, I'm just like, if I could get on Abbott, just one episode. I just want to direct one. I mean, if they want me for more, I'm sure we can figure it out. But if I could
Right.
just get one episode, I'll be content with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't, yeah, I really like I make film, but I'm not too savvy on the movie industry, like how they select people for these roles. You think it's based off of their credential, like their reels, the movies they worked on, or is it based on like who they know?
It's definitely a who you know, but sometimes with that who you know, it's also adds credentials. But just to be like unbiased, yeah, I'm starting to find out it's not always what you know. It's definitely a who you know. Because
Right.
I know
At the
plenty of
right
people.
time.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, yeah. I know people that's even like more talented than me that are like, trying to figure it out just like myself, or even people who may not be as talented. Like everybody's trying to figure it out.
Oh, all right, yeah. So you mentioned you write scripts. Now,
Mm.
how do you feel about AI being introduced in the industry? You think that kind of ruins it? You think it helps it, benefits it? How you feel about AI?
Um, I think it's a tool just like everything else, but I know there's a lot of people in the industry who probably don't have the best intentions excuse me, the best
Go ahead.
intentions for it as us for writers. Um, but yeah, I think it's a tool just like everything else. I'm actually not as fearful for it compared to like other people I know because I'm like, it's just a computer. I mean, all it takes is an update to kill all this stuff anyway. But I definitely understand the politics side of it and about like,
Uh-huh.
why we're trying to phase us out, which I'm like, AI can't be a human, there's only so much that it could do. So, I'm
So
not against it, but I'm not like
supporting it
dependent
neither.
on it either.
You're kind of neutral.
A little bit, yeah, but I definitely understand why people fear it, but you know, like I
Yeah.
said, it's not a human. Like you can't like I've utilized like Chat GPT for like notes or just to like, form structure of things. And sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't, but it doesn't hurt me per se because I
Right.
feel like everything that I know about writing is just coming from like my own experience and what I was taught in school.
hmm So, so I heard that. I mean, I heard that there was a Did I freeze? Can you see me? Oh, there it is.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I heard that there was a some kind of movement. I wasn't paying too much attention to it, but it was like some kind of movement with SAG and payment and AI. Did you hear about that?
I
Few
think
years
I've heard
ago.
about it from the actor's perspective, not necessarily the writing perspective. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
hoping.
believe that. Yeah, I believe that they were like, first off, people wasn't getting paid enough. Like the work was getting paid. Excuse my language. Workers were getting paid shit, while the higher ups was getting like millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they wasn't sharing it. And
Mhm.
plus, yeah, people was losing their jobs because they're thinking about using AI to replace writers, replace actors. Like I've seen in some Disney movies that like the background actors were AI.
Mhm.
So I believe that's what the whole movement was about, like to like make some kind of agreement. I'm not sure if it paid off too much, but that's what I've been like hearing and seeing.
As far as I know anyway, I feel like it's definitely still like a work in progress. So, I know for the actors anyway, yeah, it's definitely, well, I think it's for everybody's protection and benefits as far as like, yeah, like people actually getting paid their work and not being thrown as a cheap labor to
Right.
wherever the industry is trying to go next. Because, there is a lot of money in that particular industry, but there's a lot of greed too. So,
Oh, Jesus, you work with some greedy people?
greedy people is everywhere, no matter what industry. We in America, so it's capitalism everywhere.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
Mhm.
Now, when you're writing, have you ever experienced a writer's block?
Yeah, I guess you can say writer's block. I mean, I think my writer's block is literally just not having enough time in the day to complete everything because, if all I had to do was write, life would be so much more easier. But um I think sometimes like for me, my writer's block is more so like you have an idea and like you try to write it down and then you're trying to decide even after writing it down, is that something that you want to pursue story wise? Because sometimes it's just an idea or it's half an idea, but do you have enough interest to like really pursue it? Because for me, I get ideas all the time, but
Uh, yeah, but at the
um
same time, sorry for cutting you off, but yeah, at the same time, I remember you said that you made a movie, but you written the script in 2017. So do
mhm.
you sit on some scripts as well, like just for years on end?
Oh yeah, I got plenty. So my process with writing is that like, I'm trying to do two things. I'm trying to write as far as like something that could be done like right now with whatever resources that are there or not there. And sometimes it's writing just to be creative, like just to kind of get it out of your head. Like,
Right, yep,
I have like this Vegas action movie idea. I don't and it's a feature, but I don't have the resources to pull that off. Like I feel like it's definitely like a studio funded or somebody who just got money funded. So that would have to be like an idea I would have to pitch
hmm
to make it work. So sometimes it's just a matter of just being creative, getting the idea out of your head. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I'm writing this idea because I want to shoot this like right now if I could.
Right, right. Now, can you see me? I
Yeah,
be asleep sometimes. All right, but yeah, all right. So, working on movie sets, do you run into a lot of celebrities, or maybe just doing photography or just film work? Do you like run into celebrities? Because I see on your profile you ran into Regina King. I think that's Regina King. Is that? No, that's not Regina.
Virginia King. I have not met Virginia King. I would love to meet Virginia King, but who's you looking at?
Nothing, nothing. I don't want to disrespect her. Oh,
I would like to be Virginia King. I think she's a great actor, but I have not met her.
I remember working on a movie scene. I think I was just a background extra, but
Mm.
I remember I met Bryan Cranston, and it's like you want to ask him so many questions, but like people are like, no, don't bother him, just leave him alone. So like, have you ever like met somebody that you were like excited to meet? I guess that's a better way to put it.
Yeah, I met quite a few people. As far as like on set,
Hmm
um, man, there's so many of them. Megan Good is
Oh, you
actually
met
one.
Megan Good? Jesus.
Yeah, I met her in 2012 on a music video set actually. And she was actually one of my favorite celebrities that I've, met and had an encounter with. Yeah, she was definitely one of my favorite people. Very sweet, very open. Yeah. I will say that, like, because yeah, there's so many of them. I can't even remember them all right now. But um, what can I say? With some of these celebrities or actors or filmmakers or whoever, like it's like a time and a place for everything. Like some people are just open-minded no matter the environment. Some people they'll talk to you with the same energy that you give them, where other people, especially like on set, like they're in work mode.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they gotta, either like remember their lines or they gotta do like whatever it is that they gotta do. Sometimes that's like where their head is at. Not to say that they won't interact with you, but when you're on set, you're there to work. Compared to, if you ran into them at a store or, wherever away from set. It really just depends on the individual. Like, I'll take somebody like Spike Lee. Like, I met Spike at least 3 times already.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, he's great. Like, he's definitely like a top tier filmmaker, but I feel like Spike Lee is definitely more introverted than extroverted. I feel like if you was to meet Spike at like, a private dinner or somewhere where it's not like 100 people on his faces, I feel like he's a lot more open. But if he
Right.
had like, ABC 7 or whoever like in his face, it's like I feel like his mindset, he's just very focused and very, work hand at that point. He doesn't really want to do more than what he has to.
Right. Now,
Whereas
yeah, go ahead. Go
somebody
ahead.
like well, I was gonna say, well, somebody else like Jeff Goldblum, for example. I've only met him once, but he definitely gives me that energy that if I see him on set, if I see him at a jazz club, if I see him like at a gas station, I feel like he'll just talk to you just because he's that person.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been around enough of them, so I don't want to say like I don't really get like starstruck anymore, but I feel like I just kind of like I don't know. I just kind of fill out the vibe. I try to kind of like just leave them alone. But if I find a moment just to say hi, I'll give them that. But it really
Yeah.
just depends because everybody's different.
Yeah, it's all about the right moment. Cause I remember, I'm not gonna say her name, but I met an actress once, on the movie set, and it's like I just went up to say hey to her, like, hey, I love your movies, and she's just,
Mm.
okay, okay.
Just kind of brushed you off.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like some people be in that zone, so I never take it personally. But I feel
Mhm.
like some people be in that zone where they're like in character. So you gotta pick like when you talk to them or not. You know, I ran into some assholes too, like some assholes on the movie set as well. Jesus, I hope you didn't run into them. Like I remember I asked this one lady, hey, yeah, how can I use this printer? And she was all snobby, like, you telling me you don't know how to use a printer? I'm like, Jesus, is every printer is different. But it's that's how some people are. You ever ran into some people like that?
You know what? Most celebrities or filmmakers, actors, whatever, most people have been all right with me.
Mhm.
Um, I don't want to name those said individuals, but
Right, right, right.
there's one particular individual who I do enjoy them as an actor, but being around them in person, it just made me like I don't know, just kind of made my skin feel a kind of like it just kind of crawled wrong. I was
Jesus,
like,
it was like a horrible person or something.
yeah, this individual definitely is one of those people that like loves a lot of attention and not
Oh,
necessarily the right
Jesus.
type of attention, and it
Oh,
just kind of made me question them as a person. Like, what is your problem?
yeah.
But
What's your
uh,
problem?
yeah, I'm not gonna name that particular individual, but yeah, but yeah, 90% of the celebrities or actors I've met, they've been cool. But like I said, I try to give most of them their space. I really try not to like really bother them. I'll give you one story about one in particular.
Yeah.
At the time, I met Tiana Paris some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She's very beautiful and like yeah, I definitely enjoy her work. I ran into her, I think like yeah, by the In and Out by LAX, and I walked past her and her friend. But when I was walking, I didn't catch that like it was her, so I had to kind of do a double take. And she's very beautiful in person.
Yeah.
She smiled at me, I smiled back, and I walked right past her. But
Damn, you got it like that, huh?
I kind of did like that double take because I was just like it just registered. I was like, wait, was that Tiana Paris?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like my head is like still looking back at her, but my body is still walking this direction. And I ran into a hole and I fell.
Oh shit, no.
And I was so embarrassed about the whole thing because like I saw her and her friend coming back to come see how I was, but I was so embarrassed that like I got myself up quickly and I like power like I was just like, nope, don't
Wait, wait,
even
wait, wait, wait. You walked off. Wait, did you say something to him?
nope. I just
Uh,
got myself back up and I just went straight walk forward like
yeah,
out of
it
here.
never happened, huh?
Don't talk to me. I don't want y'all to remember me like this.
Dang, that's funny. That's funny. Was it around a lot of people, or was it just just them?
It was just them like in and yeah, just like in regular not traffic, but like a regular pedestrian. But it's like you really had to look because I was just like, wait, who is that? She has that look, and then it
Yeah.
just registered me. I was like, oh, that's Tiana Paris. Like,
Hmm.
oh, But no, she's a great actor. I would love to work with her one day. Hopefully, she doesn't remember that embarrassment. But now that I put it out there, she's like, oh
Yeah,
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 maybe I don't.
some people
It
got a
doesn't
good
matter.
memory. Some people got a good memory.
Hmm.
All right, so going back to your film, I know you say you don't want to talk about it too much, but what about the name? Did you ever give us the name?
It's called the Twizzots.
The Twizzots. Jeez, wait, did I say it right? The Twizzots.
Hmm. When you go back and watch Eddie Murphy's Boomerang, you're gonna catch that reference, and then you and I will probably have another conversation about that.
All right, so how have 2024 been for you, just in general? Or maybe I can say work-wise and personal-wise, personal life-wise.
You know what? 2024 overall, it wasn't perfect, but this was actually not too bad of a year for me compared to the last couple of years. But like I said, not perfect. I could be doing so much better,
Mm-hmm.
health wise, financial wise, family
Mm-hmm.
wise, all of that. But 2024, I felt like it went by kind of fast. I felt like I closed my eyes and
It's
yeah,
already
now
November.
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like, for me at least 2024 has been pretty good, work-wise, financial-wise is okay. It could be better, like you said, but work-wise, it's definitely been good for me. Um, but it's like, you know, have you had like any of those dark days where you're just like sitting down, sitting in your bed or sitting in your chair and you're like, dang, I'm doing all this work, but the money is always a money problem. It's like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think I've developed a bit of a pessimistic spirit over the last couple of years. Not because I don't believe in like, the good of humanity and stuff like that.
Right.
I actually kind of like lean on a lot of people to be optimistic, honestly. Like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like seeing friends or seeing other people I know like when they're thriving in their business or just going after their own personal goals like stuff like that. It's like it's easier for me to be optimistic for other people compared to myself.
Yeah, you probably got like really high expectations for yourself. That's how it is for a lot of people. You know yourself the best. So it's easy for you to criticize yourself as compared to other people.
Exactly. A lot of people don't understand that though. I mean, I don't necessarily have like any regrets about too much of anything, but sometimes I do wonder like, especially chasing film. Sometimes I do feel like I'm missing out on like, other highlights of life, like, friends' marriages or
Hmm.
graduation or them having kids or
Hmm.
I mean, I travel, but even then I'm still like, man, I
Yeah.
want to travel a
Yeah.
little bit
You know,
more.
I yeah, I can relate to what you're saying because it's like you feel like that you work so much, and then you look at other people and it's like, Jesus, first off, how are y'all making all this money? Second of all, how do y'all have this time to just be doing all this? You know, but
I'm
it's like,
I'm,
yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
kind of convinced. Wait, I'm kind of convinced that some people are definitely like into scams. I
Yeah.
mean,
Uh-huh.
social media, like I have like a love-hate relationship with social media because, kind of like the AI thing, it's definitely a tool like everything else. And
Hmm.
for the most part, I think I've utilized it quite well for myself, but at the same time, I just see so much nonsense and,
Hmm.
I'm just yeah, social media is not a real place. Like, you know
Hmm.
what? I don't care what people really say or do on this app, but how you feel in real life and, what you do in real life compared to social media, like it's great because nobody's really displaying like how they I don't want to say how they truly feel, but most people don't display how challenging life is on social media. And even the ones that do, they only give you just a small hint of what's really going on with them.
Yeah, it's only until that very end where like everything build up and then one day they just snap on social media. All you see is a video of them just going on a huge rant, you know. So that's how I see it at least.
I keep feeling like that's gonna be me. I feel like one day I'm just gonna say, fuck it all. This is
You
how
know
I
what? And
feel.
let me tell you, when you do, I promise you, you're gonna feel free. It's gonna be like it's me personally, whenever I feel depressed or something, it's like that's when I'm like, that's what like pushes me to like do something more, because I really want to make it with the film industry. So that pushes me to like just do more. Okay, maybe it's not good enough, maybe I'm missing something, or maybe I'm working too hard and what I need to do is just hire like more people to help me. Maybe I need my own crew. So like during dark times, I'm not sure about you, but during dark times for me, it like inspires me. Sometimes it get lonely, but it's like I ask myself, like, do I want to do anything else? And like with filming, it's like, no, this is what I want to do. Sometimes I need to take a break, like go outside or just, travel, go spend time with somebody. But other than that, like filmmaking is what I really want to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I mean, I feel like I'm trying to learn new habits like away from filmmaking, like especially like taking care of myself because
Hmm.
if you're not healthy, if you're not like right in your mind or your body, I feel like
Hmm.
it's literally like another distraction from everything else. And I'm definitely been guilty of when life is not going wrong. Like I'm definitely one of those people, like I'll throw myself into work and like won't even give myself time to like grieve or experience really nothing else. And I've been called out on that so many times,
Jesus.
still being called out on it, which I know it's coming from like a place of love, and it is something that I'm working on. But sometimes I feel like, if I don't do these things for myself, nobody's going to do it for me. And I think that's why I work so hard. But
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like, you don't really like, we really don't have nobody to lean on per se. So like we got to do the work ourselves. And if we stop, the money stop, the work stop. So it's you got to really balance work and life. If you overwork yourself, you don't want to crash out, destroy your work. So yeah, you really got to balance, life and work. Just go outside, maybe go jogging, pick up a hobby. Just go live a little, have a drink, you know.
I could definitely have a good drink, but um I wouldn't say I would use that as like my only outlet, or it shouldn't be the only outlet, but
Right. So during your dark times, right, do that inspire you in your work, or do that kind of like hurts it? Like in a sense, it hurts you as a person, but your work comes out, your creativity comes out a little bit more because now you're emotional. Now you're in a sense tapped in. Does it help your work?
I feel like it could be like 50-50. I've definitely have wrote things when I was angry. I did write a story like a long time ago about one group of friends in particular. Like it was actually like I'm trying to remember whose birthday. It was somebody's birthday night, and obviously like when you're younger and you have like your designated plans. I'm a very like planned individual, but I'm starting to find out that even like the more you plan, that doesn't necessarily mean things will go as planned. So
Hmm.
it's hard for me sometimes to like reroute whatever the plan is once I've kind of made up my mind that this is the plan that I want to go with. So it could definitely, inspire you, or it could definitely lead to something as far as being creative. But I sometimes feel like for those that adapt like a lot of like bad habits, um, it could go either or. I guess it just depends on the said individual.
Well, from what I can tell about you, I feel like you're doing something right because I met filmmakers that was like really on their low end, like I don't know, I don't want to say desperate, but it's like they really wanted to like have their big moments, so they resorted to like scamming people. You know, like they say they would, hey, they say that they're making a movie, they're looking for actors and actresses and all sorts of people. And what they
Mm,
say is, hey, if you want to be a part of this project, you gotta donate $20, $25 and I'll consider you.
right.
You know, so some people resorted to scamming, you know, so it destroys some people, you know. But I'll
Well,
say,
I've been fortunate that I never had to do that, but yeah, I've heard those stories too in particular, and
well,
yeah.
I'll say this. If you can go back in time, like to a younger version, would you do something different?
Not necessarily. It's one of those situations where I feel like, like the knowledge that you have now, if you could just like keep the knowledge intact, but like go back like 10 or 20 years and just apply it. I know a lot of people like to joke and say like, "Oh man, I wish I had the lotto numbers for this," or "I wish I'd make a bet on whatever state team was playing." Maybe little things like that, but it's really just keeping the knowledge intact and then just taking it back.
All right, now let me ask you this. What's one thing throughout your life or your career? What's one thing throughout your life or your career that you think everyone in the creative world should know? Or or if you understand the question, what's one of your most important lessons that you've learned?
uh Being vigilant is definitely a thing. um Having good discernment, because um for some of like the family or friends that know me a little bit more personally, again, a lot of people say I'm like a little pessimistic, especially like when it comes to people. But sometimes I feel like that pessimism is coming from a place of like discernment. Like, I know there's good people in the world, but there's
Right.
bad people in the world too. So, and I would like to consider myself somebody who has a lot of discernment about things, and I would like to believe most of the times I'm right, but I've been wrong once or twice too, maybe
Mm-hmm.
three times. But um, it's like you said, with like, the people that are scammers or the people who do a lot of crazy shit to,
Uh-huh.
whatever it is they got to get around. If you see it, or if you got that vibe or something, you just kind of like adjust and you get away from the situation, or you handle it however you want to handle it. So, but I also feel like discernment is one of those things that, like, yeah, it comes with experience. I don't really think that's something
Right.
people could teach you. I mean, people could tell you, but I mean, I don't know. Like, for me, I don't consider myself like, I guess what they call hard-headed,
Uh-huh.
but I feel like there's definitely other people where like they gotta experience it to understand it. I don't necessarily need to experience something to understand it, but you know, like
Right.
you say like when you're a kid, like don't touch the hot stove,
Mm-hmm.
but you still touch it anyway. See, I wasn't that particular kid, but I know plenty of people who probably were those kids.
Mm-hmm.
And or if I was, I mean, but I don't want to sound like what's the word? I don't want to sound like naive, because I feel like, if I was a blind person and you're describing the color blue or green to me and you tell me the sky is green, I feel like most likely I'm going to believe you, because it's like, why would it not be green?
Yeah, I see what
But
you're
I
saying.
wouldn't know because I can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't want to be naive, but I don't want to, I don't feel that I have to go through every single thing to learn the lesson. Sometimes I could learn the lesson by just watching or just learning from a distance, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, so I can't believe I never asked you this, but
Mhm.
what's your favorite movie that came out this year?
Um,
Like I know for me personally, it's probably Alien Romulus.
oh yeah, no, Alien Romulus was great. That was a
That
fun.
that ending was cheese. That ending was horrifying.
That was a fun movie. Um, my favorite film this year is actually it came out on Hulu. It's called She Taught Love.
She Taught Love was it a comedy?
It's like a romance drama. Very independent. I can't remember none of the lead actors right now, but the guy who played Franklin's dad on Snowfall had a cameo in the film, but the lead actors, um, they're not like A-listers, but you can tell that they're upcoming. They might have one or two things to their name, but that was my favorite film that came out on Hulu. It's basically about this actor that meets what was her occupation in the film? I think she was like a finance tech or something. But anyway, they start dating and like, she has cancer and like she's like slowly dying. And he's basically, just trying to like help her heal and trying not to make her die, even though there's only so much that he can do.
Jesus, sounds emotional.
Yeah, it got a little tug thing at it, and I don't really know. I mean, I know it's black, it's independent, and I don't know. It just stood out. Like I'm definitely a champion for like independent films because we all know how hard it is to make those type of films
Yep.
compared to
Uh-huh.
Alien. Not to say that Alien wasn't hard to make, but
Right.
obviously they got a big budget that's backed by a studio
Uh-huh.
compared to this film.
Right.
So yeah, so far that's my favorite film, but I know Gladiator 2 is coming out and I know The Piano Lesson, which also looks really good, that's coming out too. So maybe that might take my pick, but for right now, She Taught Love is my favorite film this year so far.
Could my favorite genre is probably horror or alien or
Mhm.
like sci-fi. Could you see yourself making an alien movie?
Oh hell yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
I I really want to make a Godzilla film. That's really what I want to make. I don't know if Toho gonna let black people make those kind of movies, but I would love to make a Godzilla film. I'm a big Godzilla fan.
Yeah, yeah, I love Godzilla, but my favorite is Ghidorah. That's my favorite right there.
Oh yeah, yeah, Ghidorah. Yeah, Ghidorah is amazing. Absolutely. Yeah, that's really what I want to do. Like passion project wise, I want to do a movie. Yeah, I would love to do a Godzilla trilogy. I would love to do hold on, excuse me one second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay, never mind. um, yeah, I want to do a Godzilla trilogy. I want to do a film on the LA riots. I want to do a biopic on Millie Jackson, and I would love to do a biopic on Minister Farrakhan, but I don't know if the industry is ready for that, and I don't necessarily want to be blackballed by that, but those would be my passion projects.
Jesus,
So.
those are nice. Now, what about who's have you have any like really, really good experiences in the industry or while making the film? Like, did you met anybody that became your one of your good friends or your best friends while making the film? Like that you met along the way? Like it's just some positive experiences.
Yeah. One experience that comes to mind. So I did PA work for Straight Outta Compton back in 2014, literally 10 years ago, which is crazy to me. And I met a good musician, art. Well, he's a lot of things. He's a musician, he's an artist, he's a composer, and he's an actor now. He's my friend GP, and yeah, we were both PAs on that set, and we kept in touch over the years, but I would say it's within the last 2 or 3 years we actually started to do like a lot of work with each other personally, and I can't believe excuse me, that it's taken that long for us to do that because we've always been. I mean, he was doing his thing as a musician, he was performing, he was writing, he was recording, doing his own thing, but we would talk pretty frequently, and we always have long conversations about music, movies,
Right.
life, and everything in between all of that. So
Yeah, I met a few musicians as well. I met people that's so I'm not sure if the correct word is addicted or dedicated, but so
mhm.
into making music that it's like they want to blow up, right? They want to be as big as, like Drake and Kendrick, but it's like they don't really get into like the technical side of it, like the managing side, the financing side. All they do is make music.
Hmm.
So is that what he's like, or is like,
Um, I don't know if I could truthfully speak on all of his I mean, I know a lot of his ambitions, but as far as like the business side, I mean, I know he has his own experience, but I don't necessarily want to talk on his
right,
behalf
right,
about,
right.
the politics or the behind the scenes of just, making music, because
Uh-huh.
that's a whole thing. But I believe personally he can do whatever he wants. I think the way that I know this individual, he picks and choose what he wants to do. I don't think anybody could hold anything over his head like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. I think for the most part, he does exactly what he wants to do. And I think there's a lot of power and freedom and a lot of admiration that comes in that.
Now, is some of your short films or the movies you make in a sense connected with each other? Like,
Uh, Not
like not
necessarily.
necessarily.
I have thought about like maybe making I guess a what do you call it? A multiverse movie
Hmm.
that maybe would connect them, but no, all of them are their own stories. Some I would say maybe share like similar themes, but no, all of them are their own stories for the most part.
All right, well, how about this? Do you have like, do you, let me phrase it. What's one message that you leave in your movies that you want audience to know? Like with me, for example, whenever I make movies, it's like for the most part, I want them to know that even if the world is against you, even if you were shamed and like bullied or hurt all your life,
Hmm.
just know that you can beat everybody. You can prove everybody wrong. If it's you versus the world, you can win.
Hmm. The message in my movies. I feel kind of bad answering like this because I don't want to say like my movies don't have message. I feel like I do have another project like an 8.5 minute thriller that I will probably release. Like it's already done, but I'll probably release it next year. I was trying to give it a run for the festivals, but the festivals have not been kind to it so far. That one definitely has a little bit more of like a quote unquote deeper message. And if I had to take away a message from that particular project, I would say that despite the challenges of filmmaking or just life itself, I still feel like you still have a choice to do something about it. It's like, yeah, today may be a bad day, or tomorrow might be a bad day, but there's still a choice to chase and turn things around. Like none of this is really permanent anyway. But that could be interpreted for other ways. I mean, funny enough, I have asked other people what they took away, and I've gotten some interesting answers. But I guess the one thing that has been said about a lot of my friends of a lot of my films from my friend GP that I was just talking about, he says a lot of them have like a what do you call it? Man, what's the word? Like the films are very like existential. I don't know if that's the word, but basically the message is kind of like everybody is questioning the right or wrong of their
What,
mortality.
like a existential?
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, it's a hard word, existential, it's a hard word.
And I'm an English major. I should know, but shit.
All
So,
right. All right. So regarding your films and your personal life,
mhm.
where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Or where do you hope to see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Rich, happy, financially stable, multiple feature films, just happy living my best life. Mhm. Trying to
Okay.
live all that right now, actually, but no, just living my life doing whatever I want, whenever I want.
Mm-hmm. Man, that
Mhm.
sounds like the dream. Well, you see yourself living in a loft, a mansion, a
Man,
house.
I could see. Man, I'm trying to be so rich. I'm trying to have multiple things, and every one of these properties are trying to have like their own business, trying to make pull money from somewhere, especially the way everything's going now.
Yeah.
I definitely see, mansion. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a big fan of Drake. So like he lives in a $100 million mansion. You
You're a
know,
big fan of what you said?
Drake, and he lived in a $100 million mansion, and I'm trying to get like that. That what inspires me. Like it's crazy, but it's like I'm more inspired by musical artists,
hmm
maybe political figures, maybe, but mostly musical artists than movie creators.
hmm Oh, you do what inspires you, like you speak to what speaks to you. Like
Hmm.
music, who would I say? I mean, I'm very old and very biased with music, but yeah, I love Quick, I love Cube, Nas, Wu-Tang,
Yeah, I
Benny
love
the
to.
Butcher, West Side Gun, um so many people, but yeah.
Wait, you say you worked, you say you was in NWA film. Did you see Ice Cube? Did you talk to him?
Um, I met everybody but Ice Cube on that. I did not meet Ice Cube until 4 years. I met Ice Cube for the first time in 2018 when he was doing promo for his Everything's Corrupt album.
Hmm.
I've been trying to meet Ice Cube for years, and I felt like a lot of friends and colleagues. It's like they used to kind of tease me. They're like, "Oh yeah, guess who I met today?" And they would send me pictures. Like one of my god nephews actually met him before I did, and he used to, man, I just wanted to smack him because I'm just like, how? You all people, how?
Yeah, man. It's
Yeah, I did not meet him on set. I met him afterwards, and yeah, he's one of my favorite rappers, and yeah, definitely one of my favorite celebrities that I've met. So meeting him was a big deal for
Yeah,
me.
I really love he's a real entrepreneur. Went from being a rapper to an actor to a the big three. Is I'm not really too sure on what that is, but it seems like he's trying to make his own basketball league.
Yeah, I don't want to speak on his behalf because he's done it so many times. But one thing I want to say about Ice Cube, part of the reason why there's a few reasons, but we're both Geminis, we're both June 15th, same
Right.
birthday.
Hmm.
But him being a rapper, then going into actor, I mean, I don't know if you know the story of how he became an actor, but make a long story short, John Singleton, the one who did Boys in the Hood and a
Right.
couple of God rest his soul. Um, I don't want to relay that story because, like I said, you can find it out there. But John Singleton is one of the big reasons why Ice Cube is an actor. He pretty much told Ice Cube that like the way that you write music and your lyrics, I'm like, if you could write music, you could write films. And Cube, it took him a long time to like, I guess, do what he's doing now, but once he got it, he got it. So, because I know you said you were more so inspired by like the musicians. I wanted to ask you what musicians inspire you to write the stories or create the stories that you're trying to tell.
Honestly, I say Drake inspires me when it comes to success. I like how Drake handles his team like OVO, like he always wants to be his own boss. And I hope, me personally, I hope to have like my own team where it's like, like we're not obviously we're not OVO, but it's like we have our own team, our own company, and we just come together to like make our own projects. Some people on the team make movies, and then some people on the team is like composers or musicians. Some
Mhm.
people on the team handles like the jewelry or like the fashionistas, fashion designers. It's like one team, but we do all like different things and we come together, like come to each other to like, like handle these things, like if I'm a rapper per se and I'm about to go to like the gala, maybe I can get with like a friend on my team that's like does fashion. I'm like, hey, could you help me out with this? So
Mm.
that's what I aim for, like team wise, and what inspires me, like creative wise, is pretty much Kanye West. I like Kanye West because it's like, back, you already know, but it's like back when it was like the gangster era, Kanye did his own thing. It was like, like push his own move, like he stayed true to himself. I
Mhm.
may not fully agree with him on his political movements, but like creative wise, I really love what he
He's,
do.
he's a genius creatively. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and those two guys really inspire me the most.
I was gonna say, yeah, having a team, I think is really important. Um,
Because you can't do everything by yourself. You're gonna burn yourself out.
yeah, you're right. You can't do everything by yourself, and having the right people on your team is super important. And I'm starting to see that like more and more now because I've been a part of several people's teams, and I've reached out to many people to form a team of my own. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But having people around you that you admire, that you respect, and they respect you back, like that is super important. Not just like even as a creative, just like in general, because one thing in my experience with this industry is that, everybody is always impressed by like the glamour of like how things look about the industry. And yeah, there is a lot of glamour, sure, and you could definitely take a part of that and not feel no kind of way, but a lot of people when it comes to like doing the work to, make your team look as good as it does, like a lot of people are not ready for that.
Hmm.
Some people they want the benefits, but they don't want to help you take the benefits, or they want to like, put holes in your ship to sink you while not knowing that you're sinking everybody else's time.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm especially now, yeah, I'm very big on team, and I I don't want to say like, oh, I have like my set team. I feel like I have a set amount of people that I can call to do X amount of things, but everything is always about timing, with these type of things. But yeah, having a team, no matter what they are, if they're a stylist, if they're a rapper, if they're electrician or a caterer, whatever the case is, yeah, having that right amount of team that actually supports and respects you, super important.
Yeah, man, because it's like, everybody wants to like do their own thing, like do their own dream career, but at the same time you need to make money and you can't like make money, well, properly make money without like more people on your team. Or that's what I'm realizing, like I'm making films, but at the same time I'm editing. And I realized that I can't do all this by myself. So what I do is I get a friend or I hire somebody to edit for me. And I
Mhm.
realized that, that put so much time, gave me so much free time. It's like, I'm right now I'm still focused on expanding, like getting more people on my team. But one thing is that people need something that looks like it works. So like you need subscribers, you need followers, you need something going for yourself so people can like get on board.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I never was big on like the whole social media following, like, oh, I need a big number to,
Uh-huh.
gain the respect of others. I mean, you know, social media, like I said, it's a tool like everything else. And I think for the most part, I've kind of learned how to utilize it for myself. But yeah, I don't understand, social media's algorithm, especially between like, Instagram,
Uh-huh.
YouTube, and
Hmm.
other stuff. I don't use TikTok, but I've had friends that have been trying to convince me to use TikTok for years, and I'm just like, y'all, I do not have the mental capacity to deal with another social media app. I really don't. But maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. But yeah, like one of my films on YouTube is like 4,000 plus views. And I think I released it like 3 years ago.
Nice.
But my subscribers is like, I don't know, 188, where my Instagram it's like 3,000 plus. And like the reels and the likes on like certain videos that like things that you think would make sense
Hmm.
but don't make sense, and then other things that don't make sense actually blow up. Like I don't
Yeah,
get
you
it.
know what? Yeah, it's really like that. So when you upload something, a lot of times you just got to forget about the views.
Yeah.
Sometimes it blows up, sometimes it don't. Sometimes your worst piece of work blows up, and sometimes your best piece of work do not blow up at all.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah. It's strange, but it's like I pay attention to it, but I don't let it like overrule my life compared to other people I know. I mean, God bless them. I'm not knocking nobody for nothing, but you know.
All right. Now, to wrap up the interview, or I would like to call it a conversation again, but what's one thing you're really excited about right now?
I'm excited to finish post-production with my horror film. I'm tired of looking at it.
Yes, I get like that with some of my movies. It's like I love it, but it's like, oh, I can't wait to finish this.
Yeah, I'm tired of looking at it, but I'm really excited to display it next year. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it because right now, mentally and financially, I'm just tapped out. It's
Hmm.
really like just bills are like my top priority, but next year I'm praying for a wealthy and sustain well, that's not the word. God, what's wrong with me? I'm praying for a very amazing year, 2025. Starting with this film, or I don't want to say starting, but this film is going to be a big piece. I have a lot of plans that I want to utilize this film for, and I know there's plenty of people that like, invested into the film that definitely want to see where their hard-earned money has gone. And I hope to pleasantly surprise and shock everybody in a good way because I do feel like it is my best work to date. But man,
Oh, oh,
it has been a pain in my ass
oh my
to
God.
get it to where it's at now, and I'm so ready. Part of me just wants to like, here, just throw it on YouTube and have it, but I'm not gonna do that because I'm like, nah, I need something with this film.
Uh, hmm.
I need new management. I need an overlook deal. I need a studio thing. I need something with this film. So
So you about
I'm
to promote it?
yeah, I'm gonna do everything in my power and with a prayer or two. Like, I want the right people, even the people that inspired the writing with this film. Like, I definitely would like to get them in front of it. Um, yeah,
What if,
that's one thing I'm looking forward to. I'm just looking forward to just being a better me, honestly. Like, I don't feel 100% the best version of me. I feel like I'm on autopilot. Like I'm just
oh,
every
Jesus, that bad, huh? Was it the
yeah,
movie? That's what took the energy out of you? Was it the movie?
it was a part of it. I don't want to put the whole blame on it. It's just life itself. Kind of like what you were saying earlier. Like, you just don't want to get burned out and you want to be the best version of you. You're your
Uh-huh.
worst critic. I'm definitely my worst critic. There ain't nothing, not even my own parents. Like I could just so much more worse than they probably could.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want to be better, like physically, mentally, spiritually, all that jazz, all of it.
All right. Well, let me say this. If you could thank one person for inspiring your movies or your career, who would it be? And what would you say?
If I could thank one person,
Yeah.
um, I would thank my former screenwriting mentor. Her name was Kimberly Paget Willis. I've known her since the second grade, and she is probably the
Oh,
one.
Jesus.
Yeah, she was my teacher slash professor slash mentor slash friend.
Hmm.
She died in 2021, and that was
Oh, shit.
uh, yeah, that was a big um that was a big loss for me because I felt like if anybody deserved to see me become the success that I am, it was definitely her. And she saw a little bit of that before she died, but um she's the one that admired my skill set, that admired my talents and actually pushed me to do the things that I'm doing now. And I hope to continue to make her proud. And
What
yeah,
was her name again?
Kimberly Paget Willis.
Kimberly. And she's the one that helped you, inspired you, and put you on this track?
Yeah, she had hired my writing skills. She recognized that I was a gifted writer from like way back then. I knew her since the second grade. I had her as a teacher sixth, seventh, eighth grade, had her again in high school. And then after high school and college, like, yeah, she continued to mentor me through writing. And then I can actually say we became like actual friends
Damn.
from student to, mentoree to friends or however you want
Damn.
to.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I remember when I was younger, I had somebody that inspired me as well. Maybe not with films, but to be a little bit more philosophical, to be a little bit more considerate with other people. I had somebody as well when I was younger. So I can relate, like that's like a really deep feeling because it's like in a sense they help make who you are. So I can relate to that. Now to wrap up the interview, what's something people, I mean, sorry about that. Where can our audience follow you or your journey and see more of your work?
Instagram, Ray Bizzle 91. YouTube, at this moment, Rhaburn channel, Rhaburn channel, all one word, or if they type in my full name, James Rayburn or James J.R. Rayburn, you'll find me.
Right.
I'll probably update that YouTube. I should probably get somebody's help to kind of, sync all that traffic up and make it consistent. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's where you can find me and my work. And yeah, I'm excited to see what 2025 brings to us, all of us.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to put that in the bio. But
I'm
what
sorry.
about
What's wrong? I'll bring to all of us. Why I can't speak now. I think you got what I meant.
it's been a long interview. But so when can people expect this movie to come out? If you have a date, just sometime next year in the fall?
Good question.
Twizzots.
I want to say maybe late spring or maybe at the start of summer. I have to start getting prep ready for like the film festival routes, getting through those fees and
Right.
seeing what's up hiring. I plan to tour it though, not just like with the film festivals out here in California. I'm gonna take it to like Georgia, New York, and a couple of other places. Maybe New Orleans if somebody there wants to give me
That
a
would be
shot.
dope. That would be dope.
Yeah, so I definitely I plan to give it a good, healthy festival run before the film is released publicly. Maybe Tubi might want it. I mean, I don't necessarily have any intentions at this present time to expand. I felt like I told the story from beginning, middle, and end, but if Hulu or whoever wants to, take a chance and turn it into a TV show, I mean, I'm open to those conversations, but anything will happen. We'll see.
All right. Thank you, Rayburn, for your time.
Thank you. Send me your work later too, by the way. I definitely want to check out.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, thank you.